what is the best horror video game of all time?
Video game. Well, that one probably has to go to why I made that costume. I'm gonna go with Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill.
Why Silent Hill? What makes Silent Hill? What are we looking at for a horror game to be good originally? Like elements of horror, story, like what?
Well, when a lot of games that they do for horror rely on like things like jump scares and stuff solely, it's not as bad in my opinion, because it's the jump scare that gets you, not the actual threat.
Right.
What Silent Hill does a lot of whenever you're playing it is it's not that. It's the slow burn. It's something that you're not expecting because you're going through a door and you're like, what's this? And then suddenly he's behind you. Like whatever it is behind you. And you have to run or fight or whatever. But it's not just that aspect. It's basically Silent Hill is making you face your own problems in your life. Because from like I've played pretty much all of them and watched the movies that we don't talk about because they suck.
Hold on, pause. I liked the first Silent Hill movie.
Did you play them?
I did not.
That's why. If you played them, you would hate them. You would hate the movies.
I realize. Finish your point. We'll talk about the movies.
But what it actually is every time a person goes to Silent Hill, it's a personalized hell. That's what it's supposed to be. You are dealing with the problems that you've dealt with in your life, some sort of memory that bothers you. It's making you face them from the bare level of what you are. So like, for example, the reason why I have this, it's from Silent Hill 2. James is...
This being your helmet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pyramid Head is a representation of James's psyche, where it has to do with his guilt, his self-punishment, his sexual frustrations, everything that he had to deal with because of his wife dying from a disease that he could not control, something he couldn't help with whatsoever. So it's all of it's everything in his head just attacking him. And all of the creatures in the game, for each game, has to do with that character. So they are very unique for every game. Like the first 3 or 4 especially are actually like completely tailored to each person in the games.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that because like whenever I only have the movies and like limited gaming experience from like Easter eggs or whatever else to define Silent Hill for me. And everybody could see Pyramid Head, right? So like, does Pyramid Head exist for other characters in that universe? I don't know. I haven't played the game.
Well, from what I know, the one that really started it was 2. And then it's kind of like how you have different characters that just sort of stay. They are now part of that town.
I see.
But they kind of tried to drive on that, where the first 4 were done by the same group, Team Silent. And actually, they're about to have a new one. It's going to be Silent Hill 2 on October 8th. Looking forward to it.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that was coming out.
Yeah, they're back. They're going to redo them. At least that one. But at least for that, he stayed in and they kind of drove it through other games that were made by other groups as if he was just an icon rather than James's part of him, basically. So that's the same as like, what was it? Silent Hill Origins, where they had the main character was a trucker. That was his job. He was a truck driver. Yep. Now, one of the creatures you fight looks like some sort of like beast, like it's a dog or a deer or something, but it's mutilated. The front of it's crushed. As a truck driver, he's probably hit some animals in his time.
I see. Some kind of guilt kind of left over there. Well, like what if he didn't feel guilt about that animal? Do you think that would still show up for him?
Maybe it did, and maybe it didn't. I'm guessing he did because it was there. If it wasn't there, then maybe he didn't. But
well, you didn't see any mosquitoes flying around, so he didn't feel guilty about killing mosquitoes.
Probably didn't notice. But no, that's like that's actually a difference too with like the nurses. How there's always nurses in Silent Hill, different versions of them, because like the ones in 2 were particularly like attractive looking, and that was mostly to the fact. Same thing for James with his frustrations because of his wife being bedridden and everything else. Like, dude's gotta think of that kind of stuff, right? Whereas like the third one, they look like a normal nurse, except that they're like sort of decrepit, mutilated, like they're old, sickly. They don't look the same. And then like 1 is something similar to that. So it's like I said, everything's tailored and it's a little bit different every time. but that was probably why I think that those are my favorites, especially 2, because it has a lot to do with like loss and acceptance. And I think that it's a very strong story, because not a lot of horror games really have a good story. And the the voice actors that were involved in that actually were crying for some of the lines that they said.
Aw.
Like there was one of the parts of 2 when they finished it, like basically the end credits, what have you, the ending of the games. If you got certain endings, it was the voice actress for Mary, the dead wife, reading the entire letter this time instead of just the first part. And by the end of her reading the letter, she was crying, because it was just so sad and so beautiful at the same time, of her just basically accepting that she's going to die, and she just wants James to be happy now, because he made him happy in spite of all the problems that she had, in spite of her being so sad and frustrated for dying. And that sort of like drove it home, because it was just such a beautiful story.
What an ending.
Right?
That's awesome. I'm glad that they can get to, like, into their role and like really like resonate with their character that they're portraying in the series, and understand why it is that their role is important in the series.
Right.
And when it comes to like them representing, aspects of their life that haunt them or torment them, feel free, if you want to answer this question, you can. But what do you think that your demons would look like in this kind of universe?
I honestly don't know. I can only assume that they would be some sort of brutish jock-looking type of people.
Jock.
Well, granted, I was always a nerd, even when I was in the military.
Yeah.
So for me, a lot of the guys I just didn't get along with, because I just wasn't the gym goer type, as it were. So I didn't get along with a lot of them, and there's that. And then there's like, I had problems growing up with like family stuff, so I imagine one of them would have to do with that. And just generally, I don't know, probably a spider would be in there.
Spider jock.
It'd just be a beefy looking drow, like from D&D.
Yeah,
it'd be a beefy looking drow elf with just the spider underneath,
like Baldur's
but
Gate.
just built like a juicer.
And the spider's got like,
Bro, spawn me.
the spider's got like a thought for every arm.
Yeah. Oh no.
He's so impressive and popular.
I don't know. I as far as what mine would look like, I think that they'd probably have something to do with the ocean, I'm sure. Just because of the thalassophobia thing.
That's how it's
Just like
sinking.
some weird fish monster shit walking on the street.
Yeah, you're like climbing up like one of those staircases that goes around like a tower type thing, and the water's like rising.
Yeah.
There's some kind of creature
That could be
there.
something,
Or maybe
yeah.
you have to wade your way through a chest high water or something like that. That'd be really scary. Really scary aspect of Amnesia. You ever played that game?
Oh, I have.
My goodness, I didn't like. I seen like way back in the day, the olden days when PewDiePie was at the height of his game.
PewDiePie.
I have a PewDiePie compilation saved on my playlist somewhere.
It's a few years old.
Yeah, I
Few.
probably should remember.
It's like 10 years.
But it is a relic, so I do keep it on
Oh,
there.
yeah.
But like that was terrifying, right? Like Amnesia, like the
Oh, yeah.
aspect of like you walking through the water, and every time you're in the water, like that thing could get you. You don't even
Hey, you see the
it.
splashing
It's
as you
invisible,
went.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Like that.
They were very good at making a good like oral like a sensory like deprivation type of thing, and then you just have that to focus on. They were good at that.
Yeah,
They
like,
made a very cool environment to make you scared in.
even when you're just like stationary, right? You're like shaking cockroaches and stuff like that. Because a lot of it is just in your head.
And the
You're
longer
going
you're
insane.
doing it, the worse it gets.
Yeah, like anytime you're in the darkness, like because that's how a human would react. Like you're in the darkness, crawling your way through this like underground dungeon of a pit.
Right.
Yeah, with these kind of monsters, like you would get terrified just being in a dark room by yourself, right?
Right, because
Yeah.
we as humans are not nocturnal. I mean, that's probably something that would bother us all. The like, I've worked night shifts and stuff. I'm sure you have a few times.
No, absolutely.
You just never get used to it. You can't, because we're not built for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably something that would definitely be a contributing factor to anyone who plays that game.
And sad as it is, like I remember there was an era when like Slenderman came about. I know it's cringe. Hate me, love me, whatever.
Not cringe.
We
Slenderman's
I
good.
used to have the mod for it, so you go give me $20, give me $20.
Oh my God.
Yes!
We'll talk about the mod here in a second.
Okay, go ahead.
But there was a period where I think like 4 of my friends, they stayed over my grandparents' place for like literally 5 days in a row. Chance, Tom, Dom, and we would wake up every morning and go get Arby's. That's beside the point. That era, we watched that Marble Hornets.
Marble Hornets,
series.
Yes.
And like there was a period where like they're like this the information back then did not travel as fast as it does now.
No.
So like there was a part of you, like a large part of you, that just thought that was real.
Yes.
You thought that was like somebody actually about halfway through Marble Hornets, you like realizing, okay, this guy's faking all this stuff.
I think that's called an ARG, actually,
Yeah.
an alternative reality game.
Yeah, and you go through and there's no comments. You can't like just look at the video and look at the comments and see what's going on.
Right.
But that was legitimately terrifying. Like me and my friends thought that Slenderman was a real fucking thing.
Oh, sure.
And we would play the Slenderman game, and I would like tote it as like the best horror game of all time, right? And you know, it really wasn't. It was just a bunch of jump scares. You
No,
go
it
through
was-
it.
It was so bare bones, but it was so effective for the time.
Yeah.
And then we just created this whole genre of dumb shit from the lore and stuff people made up about it later. That all came from 2 pictures some guy did in a contest. That's where Slenderman started from.
I love that though. That's
Yeah.
so cool that like you can just like take an idea like that and run with it. And when it comes to the $20 mode, like if you don't know Slenderman, there's like a scream, I think, that happens, or no, it's not the scream. What is it?
It's the music getting more intense.
It's the music.
Yeah.
Right.
It's either music or him screaming. I can't remember what it is. Whenever you reverse that sound, it was in the actual Marble Hornets videos, YouTube videos.
Okay.
If you were to reverse that sound from the actual Marble Hornets original videos that like made the precedent for Slenderman, it would play the "Give Me $20."
No
song.
kidding me.
Yeah,
Did
that's
it
where
really?
it came from. I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's why that
I
exists
didn't
as
know
a
that.
mod
Do you-
in the game, because
That makes the meme make so much more sense now.
Doesn't
Yes.
it?
Like, I thought it was
That's-
just
I didn't know that. That's so
Wow.
cool.
yeah. So if
You just answered a decade-long mystery for me. Why this
right,
meme was a
like-
thing?
Well, we got that checked off the list.
But yeah, so that's why it's $20 mode in the Slenderman game, because the sound effect used for like the Slenderman scream or something that happened in the show that was like iconic was just that reversed. And
Amazing.
yeah,
It's
Amazing.
playing with audio is such a cool idea too.
Yeah.
So many groups have done that. Like, have you guys ever played? I'm guessing you have Half-Life.
I haven't
No.
actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
I
there's
consider getting half like Alex,
Well,
but
okay. Well, in the original Half-Life, they always had the head crabs. That was the big thing, like the enemy that turned people into these weird, like mind-controlled zombies, where their heads were replaced by this crab that controlled them.
okay.
Well, the thing is you can hear like sounds coming from these head crab zombies while you're playing, and they're all reversed. So if you play them all forward, it's like, oh God, please help me.
Wow,
And it's like, oh shit, I'm sorry I killed you. Like,
that's
but
terrifying. That reminds me of like Metal Gear Solid,
yeah.
where I think it's Snake Eater, where every enemy you kill in the game, whenever you go down this part of the game, it's like the River of the Damned. Every enemy you killed makes that section that much longer because
That
there's
was
another
3.
ghost that you have to like get past in the river.
Wow.
That was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I'm
Isn't
glad
that a stealth game? Can you like get that far without killing anybody?
You don't kill anybody, really. I don't think.
I think you really just have to kill the bosses in that one.
Yeah, it's just like the bosses, and yeah, pretty much it. I mean, but it's easier just to kill them.
Yeah.
It really is easier, but yeah, I had one of the longest for going through that. Well, I was like, I don't want them to bother me. I want to go find snakes and eat food. Like, I'm good. Just I had like I forget. It was like 45 minutes long, just me going through this stupid trench of water.
Yeah, that's where I stopped playing.
I was like, is this over? Like, come on. But,
I can't
and
fucking
if you
do this.
die, you have to do it again.
That's what it says.
You have to get past them all.
Like, I've seen enough of Metal Gear Solid.
That's enough internet for one day.
And then the other cringe game from that era of Slenderman is Five Nights at Freddy's. That's what actually started my YouTube subscription era. Sadly, Markiplier. I know.
Yes, the
Everybody's
king of
cringing out
Five
their
Nights at
body
Freddy's.
now, dude. Like,
Listen.
but like something about it. So like, listen, dude. There was a time where I lived in this like shitty ass fucking house up on a hill in the middle of the country. Like whenever it snowed, you couldn't even get up to the house. You had to like just literally park down at the bottom of the hill and just walk up there because you couldn't get up there.
Right.
We put up my old like tube TV onto a box, and we had my TV speakers were so bad for horror games, we had to plug in like the PC speakers into the TV to amplify the sound. And
we thought it was so good.
Yeah, we thought it was the fucking bomb. We're like, oh, we hooked up the PC computers to this bitch? Hell yeah.
we were like that too. We had the 36-inch TV playing GoldenEye, like that no one could see because your screen's like that.
But
Where screen looking began.
Yeah. So we would play. We were playing Five Nights at Freddy's. We couldn't figure out how to play the game. We looked up like Five Nights at Freddy's like on YouTube, and that popped up Markiplier, and there his videos were, and like, oh, okay, this is how you play the game. And I remember my buddy Jake. I'm not sure if we'll watch this, but there was a point where he was sitting there at the chair, like teach him how to play. Okay, you gotta just like cycle through the cameras, and they come close to you, hit the doors, and Foxy gets up. He's like running down the halls, and you see him on the camera running down the halls, and Jake was like, Shake, you gotta close the door! You gotta close the doors, dude!
So I know this might be circling back a bit, but I have a good game story like that. So we were talking about not Silent Hill, Jesus, Fatal Frame near the beginning of this. We were talking about that. So the reason why I played them through was because me and my buddy were both going to deploy, and we decided we wanted to beat them all before we left. So we were trying to actually get through the first one, and basically it was me and him and then our girlfriends, and we were just drinking a lot of Full Throttles and Monsters and whatever else we bought just to try to stay up through the night and play this shit. Well, sleep deprivation's a bad idea when you're playing horror games.
Yeah, no shit.
But what happened was actually had nothing to do with that except for my decisions. So we're in Fatal Frame, you have that there's a filament on your screen for your camera that'll tell you if there's a ghost nearby. So it's blue if it's not going to hurt you, and if it's orange if it is. So I'm walking through, and I'm at the helm, the controls, because he just decided that I was faster, I guess. I don't know, but I'm controlling it. So I'm playing it while he watches, basically. And there's a room that's like sort of an entryway, and then there's an L-shaped hallway in the corner, and the other corner has a mirror. And if anyone's played this, you know the room. But I was rounding the corner, and thanks to the random encounters, I'm rounding the corner of that L-shaped hallway, and I see my film and go blue, orange, blue, nothing. Like just that fast. Just blue, orange, blue, nothing. And then it's just gone again.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And I'm like, I don't know what that was. And so I just tried to ignore it. I thought he was sleeping by this point because it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So I thought he was sleeping by this point, and he just goes, nah, man, you gotta see what it was. I'm like, oh.
So aren't you asleep?
I was like, God damn it, go back to bed. But and so I pulled a 180. I spun around and pulled my camera up at the same time because like I got this by now. And as soon as I did that, this like geisha woman with like the broken neck hanging backwards at you just starts to like fucking right in my screen, like just from the left, just there. I'm like, ah!
And you just content.
Shrieking, like I sounded like I had a higher pitch than the girls in the room. And I'm taking pictures 100 miles an hour, trying to kill this thing. He's screaming, I'm screaming, I'm still playing while screaming. We woke the girls up, they're screaming, and because all they see is a face on the screen because I'm trying to get a good shot. And then it's gone, and we're like, okay, I got it. And then as soon as that happens, the fucking closet door in the room we were in just goes like it was one of the sliding ones. So the closet door goes and just falls in. I'm like, and just dove out the window.
No shot.
I did.
You dove out the window.
I did not think about it. I dove right out the window. Luckily for me, it was February in upstate New York. So that meant there was a lot of snow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which the only reason that was a good thing is because I was on the second floor.
What?
So I fell into I flew into a snowdrift, and I stayed there. Because I was like, I don't want to see what that was. I don't want to know.
You can't get me in here.
So basically, I just had self-preservation kick in,
Yeah.
and I left them to their fate and just left. And then, like, maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes later, he leans out the window and goes, "Hey, man, you coming back?" I said, "Is it gone?" He goes, "There's nothing there." I said, "Oh, bullshit, nothing's there." like, I didn't believe him for a second that nothing was there. But yeah, I went back inside. I was cold.
That's gotta be the greatest like compliment as a game developer, right? Like the game can like inspire that kind of fear in somebody.
He said it was the cat that knocked the door. I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was.
What you were saying that you were playing that game kind of is like for your friends or whatever else, and I will recommend this to anybody who's playing a horror game. If you're too afraid to play it with your friends. I remember when I was going through college, on every Friday night after we're done doing game club, playing Mario, Smash Bros, Mario Party, whatever, we would go into one of the classrooms. We get on the projector, we bring our laptop, and like 8, 9 of us would all sit in the little classroom with the projector up, and we would play through a horror game.
Mm-hmm.
And those are some of the best memories of my life. Like playing through like Resident Evil 7. I couldn't play through that game myself. I would get to the part where you see the decaying dog, like, oh, I'm done. I can't do this. But like when you're with a group of people, it's like it kind of like eggs you on, like they kind of like boost you up.
You gotta
like,
go.
You gotta do this, like
right.
Or like I'm a really good backseat driver.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I may be afraid out of my mind, but like I will tell people exactly, like, you gotta go left there, you gotta go, there's a guy right behind you. Like every single second, I will tell them exactly where to go because like I don't want them to fucking die. But like that's the thing too, is like when I'm playing a game, I am overly cautious.
Yep.
If I play like Alien Isolation, for example, one of the great modern AI games you're talking
It's
about.
good, yeah.
But the aspect of like the alien will stick around you kind of a long time because obviously it can't run around the whole spaceship. So I would spend an inordinate amount of time inside of the closets in that game. So I couldn't make any progress. I would just wait until it was safe to go.
It's like, I know you're in there, bitch.
Yeah,
Like,
that's exactly it. So like in the horror games, you gotta have to just be brave and just ignore whether or not something's behind you, which I just can't do, which is why I can't play horror games. Like I can't ignore something behind me.
the ones that I don't like the ones that get me the most are the ones you just can't defend yourself in.
Yeah.
Like Outlast is a good example of that. And I think what got me the most is like, this is probably one of the reasons I stopped, because I used to stream on YouTube a long time ago back in college.
Okay.
And I played Outlast 2. And the reason that one got me so bad was because your character is this like reporter cameraman guy, and he is running by farm equipment like shovels and pickaxes and everything else,
Stuff he
and
can
will
defend
not
himself.
fight back against this emaciated man with a machete. And I'm like, dude, you can take him. Just pick up a weapon. Because it was like, your character's a pacifist. I'm like, that's bullshit. You're gonna die.
Your character's a pass.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it just was like, that was mostly. I beat the game on my channel, but I just couldn't do it. Like I couldn't stand it because I'm just like, please fight back. Like there's so many reasons for you to live. Just go. Just get the shovel. Do something. But
We'll eat into our next topic time for just a bit. But
Yeah.
I wanted to mention, you mentioned Outlast. First one, really great.
oh yeah,
The whole aspect of like you going into that to like, and I think it was at a sane asylum where they were doing these kind of experiments,
Yes.
stuff like that. The craziest shit would happen to you because you're going there with your camera. You play the whole game through your camera. When you would lose your camera, that's when all the shit would happen to you because like the game kind of frames it in a way that like you
No
only
one's gonna
get like the
believe this.
realistic stuff on your camera. But like whenever you don't have your camera, that's when you really need to be afraid because that's when the craziest shit's happening.
yeah, like the one big dude that got sent through an air vent because some like spirit grabbed him. I remember that part.
I don't remember that myself.
It was the big brute guy that was always after you because he just saw you and decided he wants to kill you. And then like some sort of energy of some kind just picked him up and then sent him through like a narrow air vent.
Yeah, like the supernatural stuff.
Yeah, supernatural stuff.
But if you ever get a chance, try this game called Outlast Trials.
Trials.
It's the multiplayer version of Outlast, and boy, that game was good. I went into it like, oh, 4-player Outlast, that'll be fun. And I'm like, wow, this game actually has replayability, and it is terrifying with multiple people. Like, how many games can you think of that are scary when you have 3 other people with you in the game?
Right.
You could shit your pants
There
together.
are points where I'm like literally screaming like, "Ah!"